You know what's funny? You spend 20 years teaching people how to drive trucks, and every now and then one of them ends up teaching you. I had this lad once, proper nervous, bless him. Barely said two words, hands shaking on the wheel like he was driving a bomb instead of an Arctic. And by the end of the week, he taught me something I still think about today. See, we instructors love to think we've seen it all, but sometimes it takes a beginner to remind you what this job's really about. I'm Patrick Biel, your friendly neighborhood HGV instructor. I share real stories, lessons, and laughs from the cab so you can pass your test, keep your cool, and actually enjoy the job once you get out there. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and if you want to train smart before stepping into the cab, my number's on screen. We will sort you a Zoom prep session. So the story about the nervous lad, this student, let's call him Jack, shows up on Monday morning, quiet lad, eyes on the floor, nervous smile, you know the type. I ask, "You alright, mate?" He says, "Yeah, just don't want to mess it up." And straight away I could tell technically he was fine. His problem wasn't driving. It was believing he could drive. Every time he did something right, he would still apologize. "Sorry, Patrick." For what? I would say. For being slow. And I would laugh. "Mate, it's a truck, not a sports car." But that was his thing. He was terrified of doing it wrong. So day after day, I kept saying to him, "Trust yourself, you're doing all right." But nothing stuck. Then Thursday rolls around. We're in traffic, big roundabout near Northampton. He's hesitant, waiting. Finally, he spots a perfect gap. Nice and safe, but he freezes. Cars behind start beeping. He panics, looks at me, and I say, "Jack, what are you waiting for?" And he says, "For you to tell me it's okay." And that's when it hit me. He didn't need another lesson on mirrors or gears. He needed permission to trust himself. It was a turning point. So I told him straight, "Mate, one day I won't be sitting here. You'll be on your own in the cab. If you wait for someone else to tell you it's okay, you'll never move." He nodded, took a deep breath, and went for it. Smoothest entry I've seen all week. From that moment on, everything changed. Confidence went up, driving got better, and he started enjoying it. And I sat there thinking, yeah, he got it. So it was a lesson for me. Now, here's the twist. I realized I was guilty of the same thing, not in driving, but in life, waiting for things to be perfect before I moved. Waiting for someone to say, "Yeah, Patrick, it's fine, go for it." That kid reminded me, you can't wait for permission to trust yourself. Sometimes you've just got to back your own judgment and roll. And it stick with me. 20 years teaching, and that quiet lad gave me a proper reality check. So the bigger message for everyone learning. If you are training right now or thinking about starting, remember this. You don't need to be fearless, you just need to move. You will make mistakes, and that's fine. The examiner isn't looking for perfection. They're looking for control and confidence. You can be nervous, you can be human. Just don't freeze, because that moment you hesitate forever, that's when you lose momentum. And that's exactly the kind of stuff we cover in Zoom test prep. Not just how to pass your test, but how to believe you can. I've seen it over and over again. Confidence saves hours of training and hundreds of pounds. And it starts with knowing how to think like a pro. So yeah, that's the student who taught me a lesson. Still, one of my proudest passes, because he reminded me what this job's really about, helping people believe they can do it. I'm Patrick Biel. Subscribe for more real stories from the cab. And if you want to train smart and confident, give me a shout for a Zoom prep session. Because sometimes the best lesson isn't about driving, it's about trusting yourself. And Jack, if you're watching, you still owe me a coffee.